Iverson, one of the greatest, shiftiest, most amazing, I would say
sort
of like a LaShawn McCoy of basketball, if you will. He gave us his top 5 of all time. I'll let you guys take a listen.
Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Kobe Bryant. LeBron James. Steph Curry. Shaquille O'Neal.
Steph Curry.
Absolutely.
That's
Never
the top
seen
5.
nothing like it before in my life.
How we feeling?
I like it, but as weird as this is going to be, I think it's a biased list because I would suggest AI played against everybody on that list. So if any list is comprised of only what you competed against or know firsthand directly, what about everybody that existed beforehand? What about Magic? What about Bird? Like, what about some of the OGs? So what about Kareem? So I like the list because AI, but like, how are we going to not put Kareem on that list? If you're going to put Steph on the list, how are we going to not put Magic on the list? I would suggest Magic was a greater point guard than Steph. If you want to say that Steph revolutionized the game, well, Magic did too. Magic, I would say, was the first real kind of like point forward, if you will. Like a 6'9" dude, Magic game 6, when Kareem gets hurt, he goes into, he plays the 5, he has 42 and 12, if I'm not mistaken, and then he brings the ball up. Magic paved the way for the likes of LeBron James. Steph Curry paved the way for the likes of Trae Young. So I like the list, but I don't know how you can omit the OGs. And to me, any list that only includes dudes you played against has a biased list.
I don't have a problem with it. I actually love it because he went and chose guys that he did play against, that he had to battle against, and he felt like if he picked somebody that he didn't play against, he only picked them because everybody else said they were good. And everybody else, this person was better than that person. He chose guys that he was fortunate enough to play against and felt like, these guys are the top 5 that I played against. And when he played against Steph wasn't that, but
of course.
He's changed the game so much. And yeah, he's biased. He has an affinity for Shaq, obviously. To me, I think Shaq is the best big man out. If I'm arguing anybody, and maybe KD's somewhere in there. Kevin Durant is a monster. And so, I don't know who you take out, but I love KD.
Bro, we said top 5.
Yeah.
Like, how is Kareem not in your top 5? Like, how
because
you
Iverson's he's a perimeter player, so as you notice, perimeter player, Shaq. I believe that's why.
Got it. What do you feel?
I'm going to be honest with you about older basketball players, and then I'm going to compare it to other sports, right? 1984, Michael Jordan's rookie season in the NBA. That season is closer to the inaugural season of the NBA than it is to where we are right now. College football started late 1800s. Where Michael Jordan, where Kareem, for your example, where Kareem played was pre-World War I compared to where we are now.
Yeah, in the college football.
You get what I'm saying in the college football landscape. I think it's hard to rate those players whenever we talk about the grand scope of things. Now, are they all-time greats? Absolutely. The problem with basketball is we compare in what is, in all honesty, not that old of a sport, especially professionally. We compare these players throughout eras to each other in terms of their greatness. The reason why LeBron and Michael Jordan is a contentious argument is because they played in 2 completely separate eras. Now, you can argue greatness and dominance over. Absolutely. I can hear you on that. But also, the closer you are to the beginning of the sport happening, the wider the discrepancy of dominance is because people are still learning. They have to learn from those generations. You wouldn't get a LeBron James, a Steph Curry, a Kobe Bryant, any of the Anthony Edwards, any of these guys if it wasn't for a Michael Jordan playing. I have no problem with his list because 4 out of the 5 guys are something that the National Basketball Association has never seen before. And I love that you bring up KD because he's another one of those guys that we have never seen before. For him, and I think in Allen Iverson's mind, Steph Curry, I've never seen a human being shoot a basketball like that. Shaquille O'Neal, I've never seen a more dominant interior force than Shaquille O'Neal. LeBron James, I've never seen a more well-rounded player in the history of basketball than LeBron James. I think this is a perfect list. But here's outside maybe Kobe. I agree.
But here's my problem, bro. If you're talking about things we've never seen before, how about something we've never seen before, never seen again in Kareem's hook shot in the sky hook? Like Kareem, we never seen before. Magic, we had never seen before. LeBron, we've actually seen before. It was Magic. So I can't suggest
Whoa.
like if we now.
I can't go that far. No,
What?
I can't
No.
go.
Here's why. LeBron is just he's a new model. He's a newer model.
He's a more explosive version.
Yes.
He's
Hey,
a more
he's a souped-up
explosive,
engine.
better shooting, better rebounding, better defensive model. Like
He's
he
a
does
new model.
everything better.
But that's what the new models do.
That is
That's
very
what I'm
true.
saying. Like
Yeah.
that's what the new models do. Nobody was Pistol Pete dribbled with his left hand.
Yeah.
If he played today, he wouldn't only dribble with his
Would
left
you
hand.
rank Pistol Pete above Reggie
No.
Miller as an all-time shooter?
No. But if I'm
But he's one of the greatest, most
But
efficient
if
shooters
you're
ever.
Magic and you won 5 chips in 9 years, and you had the Showtime Lakers, and you were a multiple-time MVP, and you're a Finals MVP, I can't act like that didn't exist. Like we did not see 6'9" ball handlers.
You know what it is
before.
too, Acho, though? Magic didn't have the athleticism, so it doesn't, the fancy passes, the no look, the charisma. But you don't see the Magic highlights coming down the lane, dunking on somebody. That's why.
Yeah.
That has to be why.
Like, this is the thing that pisses me off about basketball. We can acknowledge now that players from the 80s and the 90s, let's say wide receivers, for example, we can acknowledge now that the 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old kids that are in college and high school are way more nuanced route runners because they grew up watching all these people from the 80s and 90s. And we could say, hey, the game has evolved. In basketball, it is the one sport in America where we act as if, oh, well, I understand you're saying a newer model. We act as if this thing is just never, he never would have done that and he could not. Kareem Skyhook doesn't mean shit today. Who's hitting a skyhook? If it was that overpowered, people would be, I'd get Derek Lively out there for the Mavericks. Wembanyama, it's broken. It doesn't work anymore. You're not doing that.
Here's where I disagree with you. And
Come on.
I thought about this for a while. The dilemma with us, and by us I mean kind of the new age millenniums, Gen X, millennials, whatever Gen X is this. We assume that them old school players would not have adjusted to a modern day game.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is this. Jesse Owens, I think, ran like a 10-3. But if Jesse Owens was running now on
9-8.
these Mondo tracks with these spikes, 9-8 at the worst.
Yes.
He ran 10-3 off a boat.
Yeah.
Off a boat.
Yeah.
10-3. No hydrate, none of that. So what I'm saying is like, if Magic were playing today, he probably would have been more explosive. He probably would have been more athletic. He probably would have been dunking. And not because he was just naturally more athletic, because now we hang cleaning. Now we squatting. Now we got different explosive machines.
Yeah.
Now we doing all these different things. So what I'm saying is like,
If he was better, he'd be better.
no,
That
I'm saying if he had better technology, he'd be better.
Yeah.
That not even if he was better, he'd be better. Like
I hear
if
you.
he had modern day technology, I have the ability, T, and Care Bear, I have the ability to look at football and say, you know what? If this old school receiver, if Dick Butkus would have played now, he probably would have been a little more agile. Would have been a little more fluid.
Dick Buck is getting his ass busted on that football field now.
Who's the Cowboys number 88? Drew Pearson.
Yeah, Drew
If
Pearson.
Drew Pearson played in modern day, he probably would have been a little better route runner. He probably would have been a little better this, a little better that. Like I have the ability to say, old school players didn't have the advantage of the new school way. So how would the old school player have played in the new school way?
Acho, this is what brings back my original point. You can't compare eras. You cannot compare eras because this era only exists because of the greatness of the last one. And basketball is a sport that came on and has evolved more than any other professional sport.
Then let me do this to you. Let me press you real quick. Then compare how you dominated your era.
Yeah.
If I can't compare eras, then let me compare how you dominated your era. And Magic Johnson dominated his era more than Steph dominated his era. He did. He won 5 and 9. Magic dominated his era more than LeBron dominated his era. He won 5 and 9. So I'm with you. If we don't want to, Kareem dominated his era more than you could suggest anybody. Bill Russell rather dominated his era more than anybody dominated.
How many
era.
teams were in the NBA during those eras?
Bill Russell's less. Bill Russell's
We're talking pre-expansion.
Not Magic.
How many players were in the National Basketball Association when they were happening?
Don't do Magic.
It's not that. The further we get away, in about 25 years, they're not going to have Michael Jordan on the list.
No.
I'm telling you, in about 25 years.
Hold on.
But
Think about this. Growing up, big football fan, right? How many teams across the NFL had a superstar one receiver? How many?
It wasn't a receivers league.
I understand. Maybe 5, 6. Now, look across the board in the NBA. about 20 to 25 teams have players that could be top 10 players. If they aren't already top 10 players, they have players with the potential of being a top 10 player. How wide the talent base is now makes it a more competitive league, which makes it more hard to dominate. And why? I'm not here to take away the greatness of the past. Why? Because they saw those things happen. Michael Jordan, I had to do this a couple years ago. The whole we done with the 90s trend was going on. Michael Jordan, I challenged myself, you know what? Let me go back and watch. Michael Jordan was daylights better than anybody else on the basketball court. I watched the series against the Celtics. I watched the series against the Portland Trailblazers, against the Suns. Every single playoff game Michael Jordan ever had in his entire career, I've watched it. He was unbelievably dominant. Early on, towards the end, the gap started closing. He was still incredible, but the gap started closing. He wasn't shooting 54% from the field anymore on 30 shots. He then went to the regular 48, 49. He was still in his prime. He was still amazing. Still the greatest player, arguably, of all time. My thing is, though, because of these eras, it's hard to compare dominance even.
But then,
it's a way deeper league
here's my
now.
thing. But then, T, you have to get credit for dominating when nobody else was. Dan Marino. Dan Marino threw for 5,000 yards. The next quarterback to throw for 5,000 yards, it was 20 years later.
Yeah.
So, you have to get credit for being first. And that's why that's why if you want to throw Steph on the list, everything Steph did, Magic did. As far as changing the game, as far as winning several championships, as far as playing for one organization, as far as also playing with other superstars, but being the catalyst and the nucleus of that team, everything Steph did, Magic just did it more. And I know Steph, so I don't know. I like Steph.
I have to disagree. Steph did
statistically, Magic did it more.
Steph did it in a more competitive league than what Magic did it in. Magic plays for the greatest basketball organization of all time with countless Hall of Fame teammates. James Worthy's, the Kareems.
Don't do that. I do the same thing. What did T say? T said Kevin Durant should be on that list.
Yes.
So he
got a ring before Kevin Durant, he got a ring after Kevin Durant.
I agree with you.
He hit 400 threes and was an undisputed MVP. No one else in the NBA had done that.
It's not that
without Kevin Durant. Don't do that, Emmanuel Acho. Don't do that.
Now,
Go ahead, T.
Me personally, I would take Kevin Durant over Steph Curry. I would.
That's where I draw the line. I draw the line there.
I would. Just basketball player. We're not talking being a leader on the team.
Skills?
Oh,
yes.
that's not a,
yes.
Skills.
If I need a bucket,
no.
Game on it. We down 1 point.
Conversation is nuanced.
We're down 1 point. Who you giving it to? Steph Curry or Kevin Durant?
Of course,
you down
KD,
1 point.
Of course, but that's a dumb combo, T. And the reason to me it's a dumb combo, that's not how sports are played, T. If you were saying 1-on-1, of course.
No,
but basketball's 5-on-5.
Yeah, but when Steph Curry and Kevin Durant played, when they need the bucket, they went to KD. They was on the same team.
Sure, but I don't want to do it.
They were on the same team. They were on the same team.
It's nasty, but KD was the best player.
They were on the same team.
That is
right?
a lie.
I agree.
That's a lie.
It was not a lie. He was the best player on that team.
Here's why it's a lie. Because Kevin Durant's record when he played without Steph on the same Warriors team was less than Steph Curry's record when he played without KD on the same Warriors team. Steph Curry was responsible for more points than Kevin Durant. Albeit Kevin Durant scored more points, Steph was responsible for more points when you factor in assists, etc. So
point guard.
What's that mean?
It means he's the primary ball handler. He's the one running the plays.
Other dudes jacking up more shots. Here's where I don't like this Kevin Durant was better thing. Is because we have to understand the humility it took for Steph Curry to say, I can do everything that you're doing, but I'm going to let you do it. Because remember, Kevin Durant has run from team to team because no other star player has that same humility. Don't think for a second Steph Curry couldn't have won chips without KD. He did. But Steph had enough humility to say, you know what, KD? I'm going to have to listen to people say you're better than me for the rest of time.
But he was secure with himself, and that's why he was able to say, okay, I can take a step back.
Agreed. But the factor is, I hate that now because he took a step back, we use that against him. Not literally, but y'all are saying that him taking a step back, y'all are using as proof and ammunition to say that KD was better than Steph. Hell no.
Man, I think KD can score whenever he wants.
And Steph can't?
Steph can
Not like KD.
No, nobody can do it like KD
but nobody
in history.
Can do it like Steph either.
Nobody can do it like Steph either, though. I agree. At 6'3", nobody can do what Steph does. At 7 foot, nobody can do what KD does.
And that's why I don't have a problem with AI having him on the list. I'm in the gyms on a weekly basis, weekend basis because of my son. Every age group. You like, bro, you pushing the ball. What, like, everybody just want to shoot. I'm in the gym every weekend. You got 9 years old. They're not even strong enough. Everybody set a screen, just throw up a three. They're going to take 15 threes. They're going to make 3 of them. They had a great weekend. You know? And that's Steph Curry. He's changing. You go into the gym. That's all these kids want to do. Dribble, shoot a three.
Steph he broke basketball. We got a couple of super stats. Mr. 5-Star Stunner said, people forget if it was not for Magic and Bird, there would be no basketball league. Absolutely. They were doing things that nobody had seen. Kareem got hurt, what Magic did. And then Disciple also dropped another one. Said, for basketball, some of these things you see in the game now you weren't allowed to do. I agree on that, though. Like a lot of these, you drop a ref from the 80s into the days, that's a carry, that's a travel. That
don't even call travel.
They'd have passed out blowing the whistle out there. I agree. I just think the basketball conversations, look, I'm going to push this agenda because I was on one side before I ended up watching older basketball games. The difference in era, it undermines how great these players are. Whenever we start having these cross-generation conversations and whatnot, I can acknowledge that Jerry Rice is extremely great, and I can acknowledge that Justin Jefferson is extremely great, and I don't have to act as if they're, you know what I mean? In football, you don't really act, I don't know. I think overall, Michael Jordan's 6-0 finals record changed the entire opinion of basketball conversations like Floyd Mayweather's O in boxing did. It's just it dumbs down the conversation, and we can't respect the players as much as we should. I think it's a great list. If that's how he feels, there's an argument to be made.